In partnership with Redpoint Ventures, we are at Nasdaq's MarketSite celebrating the Redpoint InfraRed 100 list. My name is Christina Ayanian, and joining me today is CEO of Incident.io, Stephen Whitworth. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
So what does Incident do, and who are your customers?
Yeah, so Incident.io is an incident management platform. So when high-growth technology companies face incidents, so data breaches, they get hacked, they have outages, they use our platform to respond more quickly to them. So essentially limit the downtime and then learn from them and prevent them happening in the future. I mean, every company is going to run more and more software in the future, and as a result, it's sort of not optional whether things will go wrong in your company. The choice is like how good do you want to be at responding, and we're seeing more and more of our customers, essentially proactively investing there.
Absolutely, it's inevitable in this climate, definitely for sure. And so you're streamlining that communication during outages.
In a lot of companies, it's pretty chaotic. You're not sure who's fixing things, what have we tried, how many customers are affected. We build software to essentially try and make that all more manageable and a bit more streamlined.
It's been a very rough market, to say the least, for technology companies. How is Incident responding to that? I'm sure you're really being that guiding light in this climate.
Yeah, I mean, like when this was all happening, so it's been going on for about a year now, your first thing as a CEO is this going to affect us? How much is it going to affect us? I think what's been borne out in the evidence is like it really hasn't affected our company particularly. And I think the reason for that is that, again, it's not really an optional problem. Like stuff is going to go wrong, and given how much being poor at responding to incidents affects customer trust, even like employee happiness, I think our customers are viewing this as like a necessary, and we have to have this thing versus a nice to have. And we're also small enough that we're just sort of 50 or 60 people. We're a couple of years old. We're kind of small enough that we can navigate these waters probably a little more easily than the big companies can. But I mean, who knows what the future will hold? We'll try and do our best. You're
really that lifeline for companies.
Yeah, I think again it kind of comes back to stuff will go wrong, and and this can look all the way from disaster management, everything is terrible style, problems, which we're very happy to help with, all the way through to just business as usual, technical support, like ways to help companies, connect people like engineers to customer support a little bit better. So yeah, we've been really happy with how things have been going, and yeah, it just hasn't affected us too much, thankfully.
The name is very fitting. You're an incident management platform called Incident.
I mean, honestly, we named the company in about 2 hours, and there were some real shockers on that list. Like, I'm not going to, maybe if we IPO one day, it'll be resurfaced. But yeah, it's I'm from London originally. There's this saying which is like, it does what it says on the tin, and it's the same thing as like Incident. You look at it, it's pretty clear what we do.
And so Incident started in London, and you recently moved to New York. Why is that?
Yeah, so we started the company about 2 years ago. So 3 founders, kind of a bit of a side hustle, just trying to figure out if this would be like a real company. From day one, most of our customers came from the US, and this was us getting up at super early to catch the late SF crowd. It was after work, London time, doing New York calls in San Francisco. And this is quite different to previous companies where you'd had to like break in to the US, being a mostly European company. So, great that we had that pull, but how do we not, be doing calls at midnight and things like that? So, ended up just really wanting to be closer to our customers. And the way that we thought about it is, we need to win the US to be able to succeed as a company. What is the thing that will help us do that? Well, hiring great talent here. How will we hire great talent? You can quickly kind of work your way back to, we should probably send someone meaningful from the founding team over here. So I moved out in January. It's been great, really enjoying the city. Now in the sort of steamy, humid phase of New York. So like the enjoyment wavers a bit. But I mean, like, also my co-founders have 2 kids. I have 2 dogs, so they probably just send the easiest guy out as well.
It only made sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you mentioned Incident only started 2 years ago, and you've had rapid growth. What are you most proud of?
Yeah, I think it comes down to a couple of things for me. So first off is the team. So we 3 founders sitting around a kitchen table, now 60 people, and just being able to sort of assemble the team that like I would want to work with every day, even if I wasn't the CEO, has been like a real privilege. And the second one is our customers. So we have hundreds of customers at this point, and they went from some of them were like our friends who were trying to get to do it, to now we are working with, we don't have all the logos on the website, but some of the most well-recognized companies in the world, and it's nice to be working with companies that my parents know who they are, for example. So those are the things I'm most proud of.
It sounds like you have a great internal dynamic culture, and now you're translating that to your customer and external culture as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think one of the things that we have internally as a value is default transparency. So kind of sharing openly internally our progress and discussing things in the open, but that kind of folds very nicely into what our product does, which is make incidents more transparent and democratic, which makes them less scary. So yeah, I feel like it's the culture you build is the product you build, and they kind of end up looping back into each other.
Now, you recently launched 2 new products, Status Pages and Catalog. Can you tell me a little bit more about them?
Yeah, absolutely. So Status Pages are kind of the way that you would normally tell your customers when something's wrong. So Twitter goes down, usually people go check the status page and it will say, we're experiencing problems. The market is kind of okay. There's an existing provider, but we just think, given that that's the touch point between your customer in their time of need and really like your brand, it feels like there's just a huge opportunity to do that really well. And given that we are the product that sort of helps you internally solve incidents better, it's only logical that we want to go and help out our customers with kind of talking to their customers as well. So we built that. That's been going really well. Released it a couple of months ago, and of the people that have competing product integrated with us, about 30% of those have moved over to our product as well. So really encouraging signs. Catalog is an interesting one as well. So if we think about, something goes wrong, and we're a B2B company, so we have account managers, and our customers are going to ring us up and yell at us when things go wrong. There isn't really this notion in incident response right now of kind of existing outside of the technical part of the organization. It feels very engineering centric, a little bit nerdy, and what we've built with Catalog is a way to plug in other parts of your organization into our product. So a great example would be, I can say in incident which particular customer is affected. So let's say Nasdaq is affected, and we now are integrated with Salesforce. So we can say, hey, if Nasdaq is affected, let's go and get the account manager, and if it's a high severity incident, wake them up so they can deal with that relationship. And it's really just about connecting the rest of your organization to incident response in a way that's previously just been limited to the engineering and technical parts of the organization. So it's been going as well. We're trying to build up these muscles for building and releasing new products as well. And yeah, been really happy with that. That went only 3 weeks ago. So
congratulations on that.
Yeah, some time to see how it goes.
That's so interesting. It sounds like you're really streamlining all operations within a business.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think there's an interesting discussion in product between opinionated versus unopinionated software. So unopinionated is you can build whatever you want with this thing, but you have to impart, your opinions onto it. And then there's opinionated software, which is kind of batteries included. You just get better for using it. And I would say we try to be a little more on the opinionated side of the world, which is, we think there's a few ways to do this really well. You ultimately don't want to spend all of your time figuring out how to respond when things go wrong. You want to build product, you want to talk to customers, and as a result, we're working to streamline that stuff, but really trying to make it so you don't have to think too hard. And if you want to think and customize it, great, but you probably have better things to be doing.
You're taking the heavy lifting off so the business can focus on the business and strategic decision making.
100%.
That's incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story, and we look forward to continue following and having you back for your IPO.
Hey, yeah, pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.